My brothers and sisters from Africa and the diaspora, how are you doing? My name is Molimaro and I am from Tanzania, the harbor of peace. If it is your first time to be here on my channel, you know the tingle, as the saying goes in Jamaica. Like, subscribe, and don't forget to share. Guys, I'm so excited today because actually I was going through my Bible. I like reading the Bible. I don't know about you, but I was so amazed to run into this text. I'm gonna share it with you. It is so amazing. I'm reading from the book of Genesis chapter 11. Genesis chapter 11, there's a story of the Tower of Babylon, they call Babel. So, this a certain time in history, just after the flood, which we read in the story of Noah, these guys, they were scared like God was going to trick them. So, they were like, you know what, you guys, let us come together. We built a tallest tower ever, so that if God will ever bring the rain again, we just go up we climb the tower and we'll be safe. But the secret, my brothers and sisters, let me tell you the secret they had. Let's go over the text. This is Genesis chapter 11. Verse 1 says, "Now the whole world had one language and a common speech." I repeat, now the whole world had one language and a common speech. So the secret of the success of these guys were this common language. They will speak in one language. My African brothers and sisters, we are struggling. We have issues in Africa. We want to make Africa rise again and become a successful continent. But oh my gosh, when I look at how many languages are spoken in Africa, God forbid, how are we going to move on like this? That's why there has been this cry out that Africans should have a common language. Look at verse 5. Remember, this is God declaring. He says, "But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower the people were building." Verse 6, the Lord said, "If as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them." God himself declaring that nothing will be impossible for them. Why? Because they have one language. I don't know what to say and how to tell the African leaders and the children of Africa that if we really needed to have a breakthrough, we must have a common language.
Pamoja na ameni.
Tanzania na Oman ni ndugu, sio marafiki tu, ni ndugu kwa sababu historically inajulikana.
Kesho sisi tunakwenda Bagamoyo kutizama wapi tunaweza kujenga viwanda Bagamoyo, na vile vile sisi tuko tayari kujenga viwanda vinavyohitajia gesi.
Kiswahili namna gani?
Mimi najua pole Kiswahili. Nafanya na pesa. Nasema pesa. Na tunaleta calculator na analeta sente.
So, I recently went to a Bob Marley concert and I met this young lady who speaks fluent Swahili. I was blown away and had to do a video on it. You can count in Swahili. Count for us in Swahili.
Moja, mbili, tatu, nne, tano, sita, saba, nane, tisa, kumi.
I'm amazed, man. You see,
home because during the day we went to Bob Marley's place. So at night I was like, I'm just gonna relax. So I didn't see that. I saw it on Facebook and I was like, oh my God, what is this? Such a sweet young girl speaking fluent Swahili. And I was like, what? I feel like she even speaks better Swahili than me. Like she speaks better Swahili than most people. So I felt so proud. And the most shocking thing is, where did she learn her Swahili? Has she gone to Africa?
Never leave Jamaica before.
You never left Jamaica. So how come you know the Swahili?
I just take interest in it and study it.
On YouTube.
YouTube. What? And then the dad was so woke. The things the dad was saying about us being Africans and having to teach our children our ways. You find that most people, they want to teach their children the Western ways,
exactly.
like the American ways, the British ways. But if you know that you're African and you're proud to be African, like her dad, they just made me so proud to be African.
Hey, you're preaching
And
today.
like, I feel
Someday, so we're practicing from now, we're preparing from now.
wow.
Said he wants to reach Africa someday. Which country in Africa do you want to go?
Kenya or Tanzania.
I love us.
So we are here to tell you that your flight to Kenya and Tanzania is booked.
Woo!
That's why we came here
Coming
today.
to Kenya.
So we're taking you and your dad to Kenya.
Well, President Kikwete, Madam First Lady, distinguished guests, on behalf of myself and Michelle, our delegation, our daughters, we want to thank you for the incredible warmth and hospitality with which you've greeted us throughout the day. We could not be more grateful. I am not the first American leader to visit this beautiful country. Other presidents and prominent citizens have come before me. We just came from South Africa, where Robert Kennedy famously spoke of how every time we stand up for an ideal, we send out a tiny ripple of hope. Less known is that after that trip to South Africa, Robert Kennedy also came here to Tanzania. It was a little different back then. Kennedy and his wife Ethel rode in the back of an open truck. The Secret Service has me and Michelle inside a fortified limousine. We call it the Beast. As Kennedy's truck made its way through the crowds, he picked up two boys and let them ride alongside them. The Secret Service doesn't let me do these things. When Kennedy came, it was a public holiday here. I apologize to Tanzanians that you all had to work today. But while these times have changed, the good feelings stay the same. We've been deeply touched by the welcome and the warm wishes from the Tanzanian people along the streets as we came in, here with you tonight. Dar es Salaam means harbor of peace, and we thank you for sharing that sense of peace and brotherhood for which this country and its people have long been known. Mr. President, you've shown wisdom and strength in seeking reforms so that more Tanzanians can enjoy progress, more opportunity. And like me, you're strengthened by a woman who is a leader in her own right. I'm told that Mama Kikwete is fond of a traditional Tanzanian saying, my neighbor's child is my child. Yeah. And that sentiment, I think, also captures the feeling the partnership between our two countries must have. We live thousands of miles apart, but as fellow human beings, we share a sense of obligation to each other, especially to the youngest among us. So you might say an American child is my child. We might say a Tanzanian child is my child. In this way, both of our nations will be looking after all of our children, and will be living out the vision of President Nyerere. The core values that he proclaimed for Tanzania also describe what both our countries seek: wisdom, unity, and peace. Hakima, pamoja, na amani.
So the language itself, Kiswahili, is an African Bantu language.
Swahili or Kiswahili is the national language of Kenya, Tanzania, lot of many other countries in East Africa, even Uganda, parts of Congo, Burundi, they speak Swahili.
It is important because Swahili is the most spoken language, actually outside the native, all the native languages in Africa, is the most spoken language apart from the colonial language.
Be more united with the use of one language. But in order to achieve this, there is work to be done. As the Swahili saying goes, umoja ni nguvu, utengano ni udhaifu, which means unity is strength and division is weakness. And please allow me to end this segment in style. Ni hayo tu niliyoweza kuwaandalia siku ya leo. Jina langu ni Linet Bahati, lakini kumbuka waweza kusema nami kupitia mtandao wa Twitter @BahatiLinet. Asante sana kwa kuungana nami hadi wiki ijayo. Kwaherini.
Acha nimwimbie ombi haya kwa sauti natoa sifa zangu shukrani.